For the first time in 6 years, the United States government is officially shut down. Let's take you live to the Capitol in Washington, D.C. this morning. Republicans and Democrats are blaming each other after multiple votes to keep the government funded past midnight failed in the Senate last night. Lawmakers are due back on Capitol Hill today for more possible votes.
Meanwhile, we know tens of thousands of federal workers are now expected to go without pay as President Trump threatens even more layoffs, some of them potentially permanently. Our Barrett Leone joining us from the live desk tracking your responses. Also, responses from lawmakers. And Barrett, the impact this is going to have, we know this is going to reverberate.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of deja vu for some Minnesotans, too. During the 35-day shutdown back in 2018, TSA agents stopped showing up and long lines stretched throughout the MSP airport. Now, this shutdown in Washington centers on Medicaid funding and federal spending cuts. President Trump is threatening to fire furloughed workers. Republicans need 60 votes in the Senate to keep the government open. However, Democrats say they won't support a deal until $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts are restored. Responses from local lawmakers on the shutdown are beginning to come in this morning on both sides of the aisle, including from Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar. Here's what she had to say last night.
I simply don't understand why, when behind closed doors, our Republican colleagues say, we know this is bad, we know where our farmers are, we know the tariffs are bad, we know that is bad. They keep saying it, but then they go out there and do exactly what Donald Trump wants.
Meanwhile, House Majority Whip and Republican Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer posted a response to the shutdown on social media. He says Democrats in the Senate just voted to shut the government down. This will impact food assistance programs, veterans care, troops pay, TSA agents and air traffic controllers pay, and so much more. Their reason? They want to restore taxpayer-funded health care for illegal aliens and prop up liberal news outlets with your money. The Democratic Party has gone full far left radical. Most of the 27,000 workers in Minnesota will be furloughed and won't get paychecks. Those deemed essential will continue working, but also won't get paid until after the shutdown. That includes air traffic controllers and TSA agents.
All right, so we'll have to see if anything is happening over at the airports. Lots to check into today. Barrett, thank you.
Again, lawmakers due back at the Capitol Hill today, but the last showdown back in 2018, that lasted longer than a month. Of course, we'll continue to bring you the latest updates on any progress being made to fund the government on air and online at WCCO.com.
Minnesota lawmakers are still searching for common ground to address gun violence. The governor has said for weeks that he plans to call a special session after the deadly shooting at Annunciation Church in Minneapolis. Well, he now says that session will start on Monday. However, Republicans still need to agree to any reforms and say that they won't agree to proposals without seeing the language first.
That's never been the way we govern in Minnesota. It's not the right way to govern in Minnesota. And really, it's just political posturing by the governor, which is a really unfortunate way to handle a tragedy that we should be able to come together and find some solutions on.
And I think Minnesotans have the answer that they've been looking for about what the Republican position is on guns, that they're not even willing to have a vote on the floor, on the merits, on these very important issues.
So it's unclear if there are even enough DFL votes for some gun measures being discussed. An assault weapons and high-capacity magazine ban did not get a hearing when Democrats controlled both chambers in 2023 and 2024.
Hurricanes Umberto and Imelda are churning in the Atlantic Ocean, and while the storms have not made landfall, their outer bands are having a big impact along North Carolina's coast. This was the scene in Buxton. This is on the Outer Banks yesterday. Rough surf and coastal flooding battered the region. Look at that house there. The conditions caused 5 homes to collapse. You see it right here. National Weather Service says the storms could produce larger than normal waves, up to 12 feet higher as possible. Overall water levels could rise 3 feet above normal.
We turn to international news now. At least 69 people are dead and many more injured from a strong earthquake in the Philippines. The 6.9 quake hit around 10 p.m. local time, quake occurring just 10 kilometers or 6 miles underwater near the Cebu province. A tsunami warning issued in the area was canceled later, and the U.S. Geological Survey estimates 500,000 people felt this quake. Officials in the region are concerned that the size of the quake could cause significant damage to poorly built structures in that region.
The United States Postal Service is remembering the late former President Jimmy Carter. The agency is releasing a forever stamp today on what would have been his 101st birthday. USPS is holding a dedication ceremony at the Carter Center in Atlanta as well. That ceremony for the stamp, it's free, open to the public if you're down in Atlanta. By the way, Carter died on December 29th of last year.